Incoming mail.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to today's market color session. My name is Abigail and I'm going to be taking the first half of today's analysis, or rather the entire thing. I'm going to be doing a detailed analysis on commodity currencies. By that I mean AUD/USD, NZD/USD, and USD CAD. I see a couple of us online. Good morning, Mr. Mustafa, Mr. Isaac, Mr. Japheth, User, and Tokwe, and everyone else. Don't call all the names, but good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining. Okay, so I'm going to be using the all-weather strategy, which is indicator-based. I'm stating this because I understand that not all of us have the indicators on our laptops. So what you would want to do is to simply take note of the price levels that we mark out around the sun, and then add your own extra confidence to it and take your trading decisions. Good morning, Tokwe. Good morning, Japhet. All right. So let us now see what AUD/USD has in store for us today. Zoom in a little so we can see price movement. Okay, overall price movement since the 30th of March looks like it has been predominantly to the upside, but when you zoom in and you want to look at price action, you'll see we saw a change of character, a slight change of character around this one. Now, price came back into a level that could give us a lower low, but now we saw a lot of range. Price has been doing a lot of choppiness around this particular level. One thing we do know for sure is that this sunshine was printed. For those of us who are students of the FX, we understand that whenever we see this sunshine indicator printed on the chart, it simply means that profit taking has occurred. So people who bought this move from here all the way here took profits. So we should expect one of two things: a retracement or a reversal. So now that we've seen this, simply go to the 1 hour time frame and mark out possible levels that price could retrace into. Now on the 1 hour time frame, can you see that all of our indicators are intertwined? So the market as of right now is in a choppy, it's in a range. It's currently in a range, right? So what do I do now that I see that H1 looks like it's in the range? There's no clear break. When I know that there's going to be a clear break is when we see a separation of candlesticks from the indicators. Right now, they are all jam-packed together. So I'm simply going to go on the M5 and mark out levels where I'll wait to see price do one or two things. Either you break above or you break below. Price would either buy or sell when it eventually leaves the range. So having that in mind, I'm now going to mark out 4 basic levels into today's price movement. The first one being yesterday's low, yesterday's high, day before yesterday's low, day before yesterday's high. So from what we've seen now, does it look like price has broken these zones to the downside? Yes, it does. And if I continue to see consecutive break of structures to the downside, then it may give me an idea that H1 should break more to the downside, right? But for the H1 time frame, seeing as it is in a choppy mode, I'm not going to want to trade the breakout, because sometimes you could see false breakout. Price could just do a frustrating move. I don't know if we're all conversant with that in the market, when it will either break below, take liquidity, break above, take liquidity. So I will not want to be caught in the process of that, right? So having that in mind now, even though HM5 is showing me signs to the downside, I would want to see H1 also have a clearer view for the break or structure to also continue to the downside. You can see that price has traded into our pullback indicator. The orange indicator you see serves as a pullback. that draws price to itself. So it is possible that price has just come to test the outer band of this indicator and then will eventually return back into that range or even trade above. So I want to see consecutive break of structures to downside for me to say, okay, it is possible that AUD/USD is going to continue downward, right? It's very, very possible. So when that happens, we can now come to look at the market again and say, okay, what are we doing? But for now, AU is not so clear. And I'd always say this, if it is not obvious, it is dubious. We don't want to force ourselves into the market. So when I see a clear break, but from M5 is giving me bias to the downside. It has broken below. We could see, or we will see, a retracement from here back into this particular zone. You could trade into 0.65145 or all the way up here to 0.65175. And then when we see this, there will now be a final lap. This is my bias, right? There'll be a final lap when price eventually breaks below and continues to trade. But if price returns here and instead of coming to continue the move downward, it breaks above, then you'd see the idea of the FE move I just spoke about. This was a support zone that price traded below, right? A support zone that price traded below. What if it just came here to take the stop losses that are ranging around this zone and then to go buy back in here, take stop losses around this level? It is possible. But for me, what I'm thinking is we're going to see temporal buys, right? And eventually returning to this zone. Right, so we'll see this, and this is my bias. So watch what the market does and act accordingly. On NZUSD H4 time frame now. H4 time frame, what do we see? So price overall move, everything from the 1st of April, predominantly to the upside. If you zoom in and you look at what price has been doing, there's been a change of character here, but no confirmatory break of structure. So could this come and be the confirmatory break of structure? Are we going to see price? Because we're looking at what price has done since the 26th of June. This has been giving us lower highs and lower lows. So is it possible that we see price come and do this? It's likely. Also bear in mind that this profit-taking indicator has also been printed on the chart, right? It's also been printed on the chart. So it's going to keep coming down, a retracement or a reversal. Retracement being that it's going to come into a good enough zone for us to see if to continue to buy. And how do we know it's going to buy? If we see confirmations around key interest levels. If not, we could see a reversal, meaning price will just break and continue downward. Now, similar to what we saw in AUD/USD as well, for NZD/USD now, price has done this. This, where price currently is, could serve as a support zone. Maybe that is even why we're seeing that choppiness. Also look at this. You see that this was a previous resistance that could act as a current support. So price has now traded into this level, and this is also something that could serve as a key support. So if this level is going to hold, we should see NZD/USD give us a move upward. Into what level, you might ask? Somewhere around here, because this is our trend. So somewhere around this one. But M5 always gives a better idea, right? For what the higher time frames will do. Remember, price is fractal, so whatever the lower time frames do, higher time frames will eventually catch up with. So I'm going to mark out yesterday's high. Mark out yesterday's high and yesterday's low. And then day before yesterday's low and day before yesterday's high. Day before yesterday's low happens to be in confluence with our trend. What's this trend? I'm sure you're asking. This indicator, this red indicator you see here, gives us an idea of the predominant trend in the market. So what do I think would happen on NZD/USD? We may see temporal buys as well. We could see buys come here back into 0.59465. And if this zone holds as a resistance, then we'll see continuous breakdowns of NZD/USD to the downside. I hope this is clear and I'm not confusing anyone. If it's not clear, tell me and I'll go very quickly. For USD card, of course, the indicators, you don't have it, understandable. What you're interested in is taking notes of the price levels that I have been calling out. For USD card now, on the H4 time frame, a predominant move to the downside. That has been going to the downside for a while. We saw a change of character, price change character around the zone to the upside. Are we going to see a confirmatory break of structure with this leg? Are we going to see price come and trade above and see structure giving us high highs? And if it does do that, where is it going to be headed to? It's going to be headed for our next resistance level, which is in confluence with the indicator, the trend. Now, these indicators might look a lot on the charts, a lot of lines that are confusing, but what you should understand is these indicators helps us to calculate what we use technical analysis to see. So they've already been pre-programmed to help you just easily identify where price is headed to next, instead of looking down to candlesticks and trying to understand the dojis and the other blocks and stuff. This helps. Of course, you can also tune in to look for other blocks that to give you that mental extra confidence, but indicators have helped us to do that. So you can see that where this indicator currently is a resistance level that price would eventually trade into, all things being equal. So sunshine has been printed here. I'm expecting price to buy either temporarily or eventually form a new trend. That is what retracement or reversals mean. So having that in mind now, sunshine was printed, it violated what could have served as a resistance. Is it possible we see USD CAD buy all the way in here? It's very likely. So simply go on M5 and mark out key areas of interest. Very repetitive, very boring. Just draw the same thing over and over again, regardless of the asset class that you're looking at. That is yesterday's high and low, day before yesterday's high and low as well. So yesterday's high, yesterday's low has been marked out. Day before yesterday's high and low would also be marked out. Now I'm expecting a temporal retracement on this asset class. This has two confluence around this level. So USD CAD should give us a temporal retracement. Either you come find this previous resistance that could act as current support and start to buy, or you're going to trade all the way down into this next zone, which is 0. Get the specific area, 1.37556. So I'm basically drawing these lines to say one thing. When price eventually retraces, it is going to retrace into one of these support zones. Resistance zone support for a buy. There's a support level that would still hold price down here. So when you come back in here, give us confirmations. Now, for now, we cannot pinpoint exact confirmations we want to see because price is currently not at our point of interest. I'd have loved to do that. But I know some of us are traders, so when price eventually returns into the zones, you want to look for your confirmations. For those of us who are FXB students, you want to look for a break and a retest of our indicator, our Keltner channel, and we'll be looking for buy opportunities on USD CAD. So we're going to take a quick look. Let's see if we have any fundamental news release coming out today. Forex Factory. Is there any key news we should keep an eye out for? Today is the 12th of August, so this is it. So cash rate on the Aussie came out by 5:30 a.m. and it came out exactly as expected, which could explain why we didn't really see much impact in the market. So what does cash rate measure? It basically measures the interest rates charged on overnight loans between financial intermediates. You can also see the usual effects. So if we predicted it to come out at 3.6, if it came out greater than, then we would have seen more strength going into the AUD as an asset, right? But for now, price came out exactly as predicted, so not much. It didn't shock investors, didn't really shock the market, so the market is still moving steadily. So the next news release we have coming out is now another one on the AUD, RBA monetary policy statement and RBA rate statement, right? We also want to watch out for that. More hawkish than expected is good for currency, and the same thing for the monetary policy as well. More hawkish than expected is also good for currency. So what does that mean? If something is good for currency, you're expecting strength into it now. So you want to watch out and see what those news release does. If they come out showing strength for the AUD, then we may just be seeing AUD buy, except the dollar now becomes the predominant one moving the market. But if this comes out good, then we should see some strength going to the dollar. But also bear in mind that we have core CPI coming out by 1:30. These are dollar correlated pairs. So when core CPI comes out, you also want to pay attention to that. It's a very good determinant. It even beats all of the lines we've drawn, and whether it is technical analysis or indicators, fundamentals move the market primarily. So this measures the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, right? So if actual greater than forecast is, if it comes out actually greater than what was forecasted, then we may see strength going into the dollar. If we're seeing strength going into the dollar, it is very likely that AUD eventually succumbs for a dollar to lead because DXY is greater than, right? Except we now in some situations where you now see the two of them ranging because they are both strong. But if this comes out better and it has more impact, then the dollar will be leading, meaning you will see more buyers going to the USD and maybe AUD USD starts to sell, right? We're going to be watching out for that. So you have one on AUD, another on the dollar coming out. Please keep an eye out for that. Okay, so this is pretty much where I'm going to call it a wrap for today. Ideally would have looked at indices, but the Mala is currently unavailable. So we're going to reconvene by 2 p.m. We're going to reconvene by 2 p.m. to do a recap. And by then, this news release would also be out. So we'll also discuss its impact. I believe so, right? What time is it coming out? Time is it coming out? 1:30 p.m. So by then it should have come out. We'll also see what the dollar did, also see what the news release on AUD did, and have a clearer view on what AUD USD would be doing. And of course, USD CAD as well, because it's also dollar correlated. Okay, thank you so much for joining and staying to the end. I believe this was helpful. We're going to call it a wraps here. As usual, cheers and God bless. Thank you, Mr. Tope. Is Tope a female or a male? Please forgive me. Kindly clarify. Maybe I just made the assumption. Male. Okay, thank you, Mr. Tope. I was right then. See you by 2 p.m. Have a profitable trading day. Bye.